Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Basic to Advanced T-shirt Design. And in this episode, we are going to learn envelope distort. So this is a way of placing text. Like in my previous video, I showed you, you can draw any path and then you can place text on that path. And just like that, you can draw any shape and then you can place your text like in that shape or in that style. So let me say this is a normal rectangle, a rectangular shape. We can simply take any text we want. I'm going to copy this text. Now this is exactly looking similar, but what if I want to place my text in a different way? So I am going to add a anchor point here just to make it a different shape, and then by direct selection tool I am going to select this anchor point and make a little modification in this shape. So you can see this is a different shape. Now what if I want to place my this text in the shape of this one? Then we use this envelope distort. Let's break the text. But before starting the envelope distort text, we need to understand one simple thing, that is whatever our shape is going to be, that needs to be on top. Whatever in shape we need to our text, the shape will be on top, text will be on bottom. So in this case the shape is on bottom in back and text is on top, but we don't need that. So select the text, right click, arrange, send to back. This is the one simple rule. The shape needs to be on top, then select them both. And once the shape is on top, text is in bottom, select them both, go to object, envelope distort, and then make with top object. You can see this is how we can simply put any text in any shape we want. Now there are some rules, that is this is a very simple shape, so it is looking very cool. What if we make a complex shape? Let's say this is our, okay, so this one, something like this, then one here and then one here. So what if we have a shape that is complex like this? How to put there, how to put our text there? So I'm going to again copy that text, and as I said before, the shape needs to be on top, text needs to be on bottom. So break that, Control X, Control B. Now I'm going to keep a copy of this text. So now as you can see, my shape is on top, text is on bottom. I can simply select this, go to object, make envelope distort, and then make with top object. Now you can see this is not looking very good, and the reason it is not looking very good, because there are too many, like these two angles, they are too narrow. So it is working basically, but we cannot see it. Or whenever we are placing, you can see the E is here, but for this angle, this corner, this is too narrow. That's why the E becomes really hard to read, and that is not even looking like a E. So it can happen sometimes. So for fixing this kind of errors, we need to make some modification, and that is we cannot keep any hard angle or hard corners like this. We need to make these corners a little less hard, and for doing that I am going to simply take a shape here, just a line here. You can see no fill color, no stroke color, and that is good, no problem. And another here. So I have these two shape here. We can simply put any color if you want, but that's not important. So I have two line here, two stroke here. I am going to group them. Then if I select this one, I can align that in the center position. That means this part and this part is same right now. So once that is done, I am going to select this one and this one to select all these three, and then I am going to use divide from my pathfinder tool. And once divided, once you click on this divide, it is going to divide them from here and then ungroup it. So you can see now I have one single shape here. Okay, let's change the color so that you can see I have one single shape here, one shape here, and one shape here. Now in this middle shape, these corners are not that much hard anymore. So now I can simply select these two shape, go to object, envelope distort, and make with top object, and it is going to look good. It is not very good or very perfect to read, but it is almost doing the work. It is doing the whatever we wanted to do with that one. That means it is making our text in that exact shape. Even we can take it to the one more step further, that is we can draw another. I'm going to draw again another shape. I'm going to add my anchor point tool to create anchor point here and then another anchor point here, and then with direct selection tool I am going to bring that 3 times down, maybe 2 times down, then I will select this one, then 2 times up. So this is the shape we have right now, and this is a text we have. Just for sure, it needs to be, text needs to be in the bottom, shape needs to be on top. So we can simply select that object, envelope distort, make with top object, and it is going to work. So we can simply put some text like this in our design, or we can modify different shapes. And for showing you the process, I am using this beer glass here. As you can see, this is not a complex, this is not a complete silhouette, this is made with some parts. So I can simply select this part, that is one part, this is another part. So what if I want to place my text here? I have a separated video on this topic only, but here I am showing this again. So it doesn't have to be any like an obvious geometric shape like a rectangle or a triangle. No, it can be any shape you want. So in this one I am going to cut them in different pieces. So let's try to do it like this. We can simply draw some lines, we can cut them straight with straight lines, or we can draw any random shape we like this one, maybe one, this one, then another one, this one. So something like this, maybe on in this direction. So these are the dividers I am going to use. I can change the color so that you can see what is going on. So you can draw the random shapes like this. Okay, maybe I will just bring them a bit up in this position. So once it is done, select this shape also, and then click on this divide option, that is going to divide my shapes. And once it is done, click on this ungroup. Or before doing this, we can do one more thing, that is this is a stroke. So if we need some gaps between the shapes, we can increase the stroke size. But problem is, if it is a stroke, then the stroke size will not matter. It will only matter the thin blue line you can see between the stroke, that will be the size. So we need to expand it first of all. So go to object, expand appearance, and as you can see now it becomes fill color. So once they're in fill color, select this one too, and then click on this divide option. It is going to divide them all. Now let's ungroup it so that we can see what happened. So we can now select all these small parts from here, delete them, and also this one we can simply delete them all. So now we have different shapes and there are some gaps between the shapes. Now as I said in my previous example, that if there is any hard corner, that is going to make our work difficult. So for fixing or avoiding any kind of problem, we need to check if there is any hard looking corner. Like these corners are really hard, so they can make some trouble, but in this case maybe it will not. So let's see. Okay, so I am going to use a text. This is a font called Cooper Black. This is really good font, and the reason I'm using this because it doesn't have any hard kind of corners that can make some trouble. So it is kind of a rounded style font, a bubble style font. This is really good. And once they are done, let's create outline or expand them. Then Ctrl X to cut, Ctrl B to paste in back, just to make sure that it is in the background. So my shape is on top. I am going to select them, these two, go to object, envelope distort, make with top object. It is going to fill in that shape. I need to do it couple more times, and there is a shift alt C, there is a shortcut. Okay, so shortcut is, okay, sorry, I don't know why that happens. Control alt C. Okay, so I was pressing shift alt C and it happens like this kind of things. I don't know what this is, but this is really good. Anyway, so the shortcut is Control Alt and C. Okay, so sorry, I forgot that. Alt Control plus C. Okay, so this one, Alt Control C. I don't know why the shortcut is not working because of this setting maybe. Anyway, so that's not a problem, just do it manually. So you can see we can simply make this look good, and this is where we use envelope distort, or you can simply use this kind of shapes to put a text, place a text inside your design, and that is really cool. So this is called the envelope distort effect. You can use this, and there is one more effect that is very similar with this envelope distort, and that is the second option here, that is make with mesh. There is option is make with wrap, we will talk about that later maybe, but there is another option called make with mesh, so I am going to show you that option. So here is a text here. Okay, not that one, I need a text bear, or maybe I will use adventure, but that's too long. Let's use bear. So I'm going to use this shape here. Now once this is done, let's expand it, and I'm going to make it white so that I can see this on top of my black bear. So this is the text here. I'm going to select my text, then go to this option, envelope distort, and then here make with mesh. So make with mesh, if I click on this one, it is going to show me how many rows and how many columns I want. If I turn on the preview, I will be able to see. So currently it has 4 row and 4 columns. We can increase them, or we can increase them, or we can decrease them, but maybe 3 by 3 is good, and default is 4 by 4. Anyway, just click on this one. Okay, and you can see it is giving us this a boxy kind of look, like a box around our text. And once it is in this shape, we can simply, if I zoom in, you can see there are some anchor points in each of the joint, and we can simply modify them. And for modifying that, first of all, we need this direct selection tool, and with direct selection tool I can simply click on any of this area, and then I can modify that. You don't need to click on any kind of anchor point to start. You can simply click on anywhere you want, and then you can modify this. Okay, so this is not looking very good right now, but don't worry, it can take some time, and then we can fix this. Okay, so this is one style. You can do it like this, or you can simply do it precisely. And by precisely I mean not like that. We can simply start with the mesh tool, then you can simply click on this anchor point, and then you can drag each of this anchor point to get more control over your graphics, something like this. Of course, I'm going to bring them inside the shape. You can even modify these anchor points. Okay, so this is just to show you how these things work, and of course you can do a lot more different designs by modifying them. But yeah, this is another way of placing text on anything. I'm going to show you one more example here, and that is going to be an ellipse. Maybe you have seen this kind of designs, and for doing that I'm going to make it, first of all I'm going to make it in a stroke for now, and then Control C, Control F, just to make another copy, and then Shift X. So I have now two ellipse. This one is really not important, nothing of this part of this design. This is my original ellipse. I will need this, and on this ellipse I am going to take my brush tool. I am going to draw some random shapes here, just to cut out these areas. So I'm going to select this two stroke and this ellipse, the center ellipse, and then simply click on this divide. So it is going to divide them. Right click and ungroup. So you can see now I have three simple shapes here. So I need some text, of course. Good vibes only. This is the text I will be using in this one. And once they are in text, I'm going to select them and break them, of course. Then Control X, Control B, just to make sure that these texts are in the bottom. So I'm going to select this one, and then this top shape, go to object, envelope distort, make with top object, and then this one, make with top object, and then this one. Okay, so I make with wrap option here, that is not make with top. So you may have seen this kind of designs, and this is how you can make them. And one more thing, you can even modify them. Like this G is not looking good, this D is not looking good. I can simply select my direct selection tool to modify these anchor points. Like I want to select this anchor point, bring that a bit down, then maybe this one I will bring it a bit up. Okay, so that is the anchor point of the vibes, this one. And then maybe I will modify this one a bit so that it rates a bit well. So as you can see guys, this is how you can even modify these anchor points to make it more precise, but that's how this kind of designs are made. Anyway, so this was all the examples for this envelope distort option, and this is really helpful for placing text in our design. And this was because I wanted to go in the advanced direction of the design, and in advance we will need this kind of shapes or techniques to use in our design. So that's it for this video guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. See you in the next one.